On the news tonight, former President Olusegun Obasanjo meets Afenifere leaders, insists Nigeria needs rescue. In business, traders urge federal government to reduce economic burden on Nigeria. On the foreign scene, United States of America Secretary of State outlines series of demands to be included in new nuclear deal with Iran. Hello there, and many thanks for joining us on Superscreen's flagship news, broadcasting to you live from Lagos. I am Adenike Oweye Ajiboye. Our former President Olusegun Obasanjo has paid a visit to the leaders of the Pan-Yoruba socio-political organization Afenifere. The meeting, which lasted for almost 30 minutes, had the former president calling for the cooperation of the group to save Nigeria from collapsing. Speaking during the visit, Obasanjo commended the Afenifere for being at the forefront of fighting for the interest of the Yoruba nation. Reacting to this, a leader of the group, Pa Fashiranti, said the visit of former president is historic and first in about 20 years, adding that the Yoruba group is in support of the former president's moves to achieve a peaceful and a vibrant Nigeria. A former vice president of Nigeria, Atiku Abubakar, has denied visiting former Plateau State Governor Jonah Yang in prison. You will recall that there were reports that the former vice president was among dignitaries that visited Yang, who is being held in a Plateau prison. The former governor is being prosecuted for alleged fraud by the EFCC and was ordered to be remanded in prison by the court pending his bail hearing. In a statement by his office, Abubakar denied visiting Yang in prison. The report said Atiku Abubakar has been in Yola, Adamawa State since Thursday for the activities of the 10th commencement ceremony and presidential inauguration of American University of Nigeria, Yola. The Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, has unveiled what he described as the upgraded website of his office, which is on www.osgf.gov.ng. Mustafa, while speaking during the event in Abuja, said it is important to make information on government activities readily available to Nigerians and other stakeholders. According to him, it is necessary because information drives investment and development worldwide.
Most government institutions always would put up a website, but to keep the contents relevant and material at every given time has always been the challenge. But as far as the Office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation is concerned, is that we will make every deliberate effort at whatever cost to ensure, bearing in mind our responsibility as the office that coordinates government activities, the office that formulates policies for government, the office that serves as the engine house of the government, will make every effort to ensure that our website is current in terms of information, is active, is interactive, and it creates a forum for e-participation so that the people of the country would interrogate government activities, because they have the right to interrogate government activities. And we have a duty and a responsibility to offer them solutions, to offer them answers whenever they interrogate government activities. The citizens of this country, for whatever reason they decide to be critical of government, it's not that they hate the government. They want the government to improve on the services, because they are citizens and they have a legitimate right and a claim to see that their government is working assiduously to meet their aspirations and their earnings. So with these very few remarks, I want to thank you for all efforts that have been put into this, particularly those of you that served on the content committee, those of you that drove the process, and for even our consultants and contractors.
The SGF also said arrangements are being concluded to train officials from ministries, departments and agencies who will be handling the different segments of the website. On his part, Permanent Secretary General Services, Office of the SGF, Olusegun Adekunle, said there is a plan to train initial 50 officers for 6 offices.
That is a task, but it is bringing governance to the people and involving the people in the process. Secretary to the government, this is in a nutshell what we're doing today. But the stages are this. There are 6 offices in the office of the Secretary to the government. All of this, each of these offices will have content managers that will pass through a channel of authorization before they can upload information to the website, so that people can get informed about what is going on in government. We also have the backup from Galaxy. The SMTP is being set up as the text messaging system that can inform members of the public on the status of action on activities, on the inquiries that they have made. We also have the training plan for our officers. At the initial stage, 50 will be trained, selected from each of the 6 offices. And this will go down the line subsequently.
The federal government had allocated 65 million naira for the project in the 2017 budget. Worthy of note is that Boss Mustafa said that the website cost 64 million naira. Now, a report says former National Publicity Secretary of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, Olisa Metu, collapsed at the Federal High Court in Abuja as he made his way to the dock for his trial. You will recall that Metu is prosecuted alongside his company for alleged 400 million naira received fraudulently from the Office of the National Security Advisor in 2014. Metu's counsel, Emeka Etieba, told the court that his client is ill and had the fact confirmed by medical personnel of the court. In his ruling, Justice Abang insisted that Metu's counsel should call his 11th witness in the trial and refused to withdraw the application, which he said is an attempt to delay the matter. The Abuja Division of Federal High Court has ordered the arrest of a sacked private investigator for Special Presidential Investigation Panel for the recovery of a public property, Victor Uwaje. SPI PRPP recently sacked Uwaje, who is the chief investigator of the United Kingdom, based global private investigators, not disclosing that there were pending criminal charges against him as of the time it engaged them. Justice John Soho issued an arrest warrant against him following his repeated refusal to attend court to face criminal charges preferred against him by the Attorney General of Federation's office. You recall that the office of the AGF had, since September 19, 2017, filed 4 counts against him. A lawmaker representing Kogi West Senatorial District, Senator Dino Malai, has thanked Nigerians for standing by him during his trials in the hands of those described as the state. Malai, in a lengthy write-up posted on Facebook today, alleged that his trials were a plot by the state to silence him. The lawmaker, however, said that he is now more resolute in his convictions. Malai is being prosecuted by the Niger police in 2 separate courts, while he stands on trial in Lokoja, Kogi State Court on charges bordering on gun running. He is also on trial in an Abuja court for attempted suicide, among other charges. A former deputy chairman of the Delta State chapter of the All Progressives Congress, APC, Cyril Ogodo, has been elected as the new state chairman. Ogodo, who hails from Sapele in Delta Central Santori District, defeated his close rival Fred Obey, who hails from Ozoro in Isoko North local government area of Delta South. Ogodo scored 731 votes, while Obey scored 99 votes. 13 votes were voided. The Congress, which was held under tight security, was generally peaceful as delegates from the 25 local government areas of the state filed out to elect the new state executive committee. The People's Democratic Party, PDP, has accused President Muhammadu Buhari of superintending over a corrupt fuel subsidy regime. The party asked the president to submit himself for an independent inquest into his handling of the 1.4 trillion naira oil subsidy regime, as well as the alleged complicity of his presidency in other acts of financial impropriety. This was contained in a statement signed by the National Publicity Secretary of the PDP, Kola Olomodiyan, in Abuja. The opposition party said such inquest, which is already backed by state governors across the board, will not only expose humongous corruption but also show the world that African Union anti-corruption champion had not been totally spotless. The Police Service Commission, PSC, has shortlisted a total of 37,062 candidates for examination out of a total of 133,324 applicants who were earlier shortlisted for screening in the ongoing police recruitment exercise. PSC Head Press and Public Relations Officer Ikechukwu Ani disclosed this in a statement to journalists, and he said the examination is scheduled for Friday, May 25, at computer-based test centers (CBT) all over the country in the 36 states of the Federation and the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. The statement said that candidates who are yet to receive any invitation are required to check at the State Police Command headquarters for the date, venue, and time for the examination. You're still watching Superscreen's flagship news. Coming up in business, traders urge federal government to reduce economic burden on Nigeria. Join us for details of these and more after this time out. Urged to reduce economic burden on Nigerians. This appeal was made by some traders in an interview with Superscreen while conducting a market survey in Mushin area of Lagos. The report.
Market women and men have called on President Muhammadu Buhari and his team to work on making the nation's economy better, such that prices of commodities can be affordable to all Nigerians. These traders bear their minds on the astronomically high prices of food items in an interview with Superscreen crew while conducting a market survey in Mushin area of Lagos. The survey shows that a bag of onion that sells for 10,000 naira before now goes for 15,000 naira, while a bag of rice which sells for 14,000 naira before is now sold for 16,000 naira. On the other hand, a derica of rice now sells for 250 naira instead of 220 naira.
Before we sell 14,000, but now it's 16,000.
16,000 a bag.
Yes, ma'am.
Onions.
Before na 10,000, now na 50. Everything don't cost you. Make it help Buhari or make it help us you.
One tuber of this yam, they gather like this, 100 pieces or 200 pieces. For one like this, if I won't buy one like this, I buy on 600. Before, by the time of new yam, maybe if you buy this one like 350 or 300. So before go reach here 400, yo. But now because yam don't dry now, I buy with my 600 for grand for one. Before go reach here 650. So I no gain for market now. It too cost. Even from now, before go sell and finish, some don't spoil.
For Gary, the price remains the same, with the bag still selling at 6,000 naira.
Before we said 6,000, but Gary is still stable for now.
The most striking increase of these commodities is pepper, and especially tomatoes and melon. A derica of melon, which was sold for 250 naira, now sells for between 800 and 1,000 naira.
Before, tomato is very cheap, but now it's very cost. The price we are buying it now, 35, 32, 28 now. Before we are buying it 15, 10, 7,000. Before last year, we are buying it 3,5. But now 35. People say they cannot buy it.
Melon is very, very cost. Derica, before we said Derica 250, but now it's 800 now.
On the other hand, prices of vegetable oil has produced and reduced a bit. For instance, a 25 liter that goes for 13,000 naira now sells for 12,000 naira. But it is not the same with palm oil, because 25 liter now sells for 10,000 naira instead of 4,000 naira.
Before we are buying vegetable oil, the 25 liter, we are buying at the rate of 13,000 naira. But now it's 12,000. We are buying the palm oil at the rate of 4,000 something. Before, but now it's 10,000 naira. 10,000 naira.
How does it really affect you now that you are buying?
It really affects us too much. And now we have low price and low sales now. Before when the market is not moving at all, the time we are selling at 4,000 naira, markets move. But now market is very dull.
Our President Buhari with the beggar. And the place where they now make will help us put money for outside. Money no day. If the money they have outside, everybody go buy the thing we like. So with the beggar now, make we look our problem. Mekunu now it dey suffer well. No be small.
The government should help us. There's nothing we can do. Only government that can help us, because the price is too much and there's no gain at all.
Make it help us, make it put money for outside. No money, oh!
They are however hopeful that the government will address inflation in the country. This, they believe, will reduce the hardship on Nigerians.
Minister of Budget and National Planning Udoma says President Muhammadu Buhari might not assent to the 2018 budget recently raised to 9.1 trillion naira by the National Assembly, with an addition of 501 billion naira. Special advisor on media to the Minister Akwandem James, who disclosed this, said the 501 billion naira addition by the legislature might not be feasible. Udoma said the National Assembly will have to tell Nigerians if they have discovered another revenue stream unknown to the federal government to cover the addition. You will recall that the Senate increased the appropriation bill from 8.612 trillion naira proposed by President Buhari to 9.12 trillion naira. The crude oil benchmark price of the budget was also increased from $45 to $50.5. The Association of Bureau de Change Operators of Nigeria and Nigerian Financial Intelligence Unit have concluded a 3-day joint training and sensitization program on anti-money laundering and terrorist financing. The program, which was attended by head offices, zonal secretariat staff of APCON and key personalities from the NFIU, was held at the APCON Secretariat in Lagos State. President of APCON, Aminu Gwadabe, who disclosed this to journalists, said the anti-money laundering training is intended to familiarize bureau de change operators with the process of money laundering and the laws that make it a crime. Now, Minister of Power, Works and Housing, Babatunde Raji Fashola, has urged the Lagos State government to provide land for National Housing Program in the state. Fashola disclosed this at the 2018 Ramadan lecture of the Lagos branch of the Ansarudeen Society of Nigeria. The minister said the President Buhari-led administration is working towards making life more meaningful for Nigerians through carefully designed programs and projects. According to him, the National Housing Program is one of the federal government's efforts to address the country's housing deficit. Fashola also said President Buhari has approved the construction and reconstruction of routes, including the Lagos-Abeokuta Road, Lagos-Ibadan Road, as well as the Ikorodu-Shagamu Road. Still ahead on the news. United States Secretary of State outlines series of demands to be included in a new nuclear deal with Iran. Details in a short while.